Kendra, you work every day in situations that are not just singular.
Mm-hmm.
Yours are more like a constant everyday scenario where you're dealing with different people.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like for you in your job? Like, where do you work, and how does your organization, what services do they offer? How do they support people?
Okay. So thank you so much for allowing us to have this opportunity to have this space. So I currently work at a nonprofit organization just a few blocks away from the cathedral, actually. And our primary focus is to provide mental health and lodging services to those who require specialized placement and unique foster care. So the youth that we work with, our contract is for ages 14 to 21. And so the youth that we work with, they have it's painful to even say it out loud, but the worst thing you can imagine is what we see every day. The thing that you say, no one would do that to a kid. They will. No one would do that. Why would they do that to something that they had? They will. And so when you say that, you know, my days look different. There's not a typical day for when you're working with a population that is severely traumatized. And it's not just an isolated incident. The youth that we work with are traumatized on a day-to-day basis for whatever brought them into care and what they see. The interesting thing about it is that these youth become adults who have experienced this trauma. So when I hear you say try therapy again, I'm like, no, it's so necessary. It's so necessary. And so the youth that we work with, they are victims of domestic violence, neglect, not just general, oh, maybe there wasn't cereal in the home. No, I mean neglect, nothing. I work with kids who have been locked in closets. Parents and siblings have pimped them out. You know, so when you talk about having to forgive and thinking about those things that are unforgivable, because I have conversations with people and they're like, you know, I would never forgive someone who molested this person. But in my line of work as a licensed clinical social worker and as an administrator, you have to work with everyone. You have to work with the victim and the person that committed the crime. And what happens when it's the parent and the court orders family therapy, and this is the person who does the most harm. So it takes a special type of person to be in it. And my heart goes out to you for even wanting to engage in that conversation at all. It takes a lot. But we do service foster youth that are specifically located in Los Angeles County. We provide them with mental health services. So we are their parent, even if they have biological or extended family. All of their services are provided in-house through our agency.
So how do you guard your heart as you are, you know, processing children? I'm sure some of them you probably feel closer to. They probably feel closer to you, and you develop relationships with them. How do you make sure that you're okay after hearing trauma after trauma after trauma?
That is loaded. That's loaded. One of the things that I have to remind myself is that, Kendra, you are a part of the solution. My kids struggle to do the most basic things, and my heart breaks. It's to the point, I think I shared with you at one point, I said, I can't even read the court reports and what they're experiencing because it is painful. It is painful. People don't even get out of bed dealing with the things that they deal with. So one of the things that I have to do is, like I said, remember that I'm a part of the solution. I have to have God in my life. There is no way. My heart breaks. I literally just say, even in my Bible studies, I'm like, prayer requests, can you pray for my kids? Can you pray for my kids? And another thing is how I acknowledge them. Even just now, I'm like, I say my kids. They're not, those foster children. No. They have names. They have stories attached to them. So I remain human. You have to remain human. Remember that, you know, we always say in social work that this is a thankless career, because you don't know, it's not, I'm going to provide these services and then these children are going to be fantastic. It's unrealistic. So my goal is to do what I can while I have them. And if they are, willing and able, they come back. So I remember I allowed them to come back. And I pray. Yeah. There's no way to do it without staying grounded in faith. Right. No way. Yes. No way.
So it sounds like God really prepared you for working in this particular career. This sounds like it's way more than a job for you.
Yeah. I say it's social work is a calling. You don't end up staying in the field. You might start in it, but you don't end up in the field, especially because this was the one field that I did not want to go to. I knew I wanted to go to grad school. And so, I went to a career counselor and I said, he said, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to help people. I want to help people who have their, find their voice. I want to speak for those that, aren't able to. I want to provide resources, et cetera. He was like, oh, this is the easiest session ever. And then I went to graduate school and I fell in love with the work. I fell in love with being a helper. And helping in whatever capacity that I can. So I can work with the youth, but I'm also an administrator, so I can work with those that work with youth. And then, so it's a calling. Yeah. It's a calling for sure.
So finding balance for sanity's sake is key. Having that relationship with God and knowing that He has you here for a reason is key.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing your story.
My pleasure.